Hello YouTube. Today we're going to take a look at my 2015 MacBook Pro 13-inch with Retina display. So, let's roll the intro and let's get to the review. So, it's time to take a look at my trusty workhorse laptop, the early 2015 MacBook Pro Retina 13-inch, like I just said. Take a look at how thin this laptop really is. It's only barely thicker than the USB port. Well, maybe two above each other. Just a couple of millimeters, really. It's extremely thin. It's fairly lightweight. It's sort of, you know, if you have it in you feel it in your hand, it feels sort of heavy. It has some heft to it, definitely, but it's by no means really heavy. It's very easy to carry around. I've been using this laptop for about 3 months now, and the experience so far has been pretty darn good. The screen is extremely thin, as you can probably tell, and the rest of the laptop is fairly thin as well. Like I said, it's barely 2 USB ports high, if that's a measuring unit by any means. So let's take just a little quick outside tour. Got a MagSafe 2 connector to Thunderbolt 2 ports, sorry. USB 3.0, headphone jack, dual microphones on that side as well. Got an SD card slot here, HDMI, another USB 3. And of course, on the inside of the laptop, here we are presented with the gorgeous Retina 13-inch display, resolution of 2560 by 1600, which is effectively double what you find on the earlier models, which was 1280 800, I believe. And they were pretty nasty to look at, in my opinion. This is definitely a lot better. Pretty much for every pixel you had on that screen, you have 2 pixels on these. So that's pretty good. Well, effectively the pixels are quadrupled, but anyway. Of course, you also have the same chiclet style backlit keyboard that you find on the earlier models of the MacBook Pro. And the main new thing that you find on these Retinas in 2015 is this trackpad, which is the Force Touch trackpad. Let's just take a listen to how this sounds. You can click anywhere on the trackpad and it will register a click, no problem. Of course, in the past you could just do this, like double tap if you had that enabled, or dual tap for a right click. I still have that enabled, but it doesn't work always, but anyways, that's not very important. I think it's time now to just go over a couple things that I really like about the MacBook Pro and things that I dislike about the MacBook Pro. The things that I really like is the overall design and build quality. It's absolutely spot on. It's what you would expect for a laptop in this price range. I paid 1,300 euros for this. I bought it brand new. This is the base model though. It's running OS X El Capitan 10.11.1. Let's just take a quick look at the display. As you can see there, MacBook Pro Retina 13-inch early 2015, 2.7 GHz i5, 8 gigs of RAM. It's a 120 gig SSD and it has Intel Iris 6100 graphics. In those specifications are a couple of the things that I like and dislike about the laptop. So let's go over them really quickly. What I like about this laptop, the SSD is blazing fast. It really boots up in just a matter of seconds. I have never seen a laptop boot OS X this quickly. It's really, really amazing. So let's see if I have Blackmagic disk speed test here. We actually do. So let's just take a look at how fast this thing is. Of course, the higher capacity SSDs are pretty much, I think in write they're about twice as fast, and in read about 0.5 faster, I think. So let's see. Write we're about at 460 at the moment. And look, read we're almost near 1300 megabytes per second. The write speed used to be around 650 to 700, but SSD is pretty full. I have a boot camp installation on it as well. And that's definitely taking some performance, and it bumped up to 600 there, so you saw that. So I like the SSD very much. I like the display very much. I got used to the keyboard. Wasn't a big fan of it at first, but now I can type relatively quickly on it, and I have absolutely no problems with this keyboard. I absolutely love backlit keyboards, because sometimes I work at night and it's dark and I don't know what the charm is from these backlit keyboards, but I just adore them. And it's very well executed on this MacBook Pro. I know they are very good at this because I've used PowerBook T4's backlit keyboards in the past, and those were fine as well. It's not much of a refined backlighting system. The new MacBook, the 12-inch, has a more refined system that actually has an LED per key. This is just an LED strip underneath the keyboard that will just illuminate the keys. So it's a bit of old technology, but I think the new tech that you see in the original, or well, the new MacBook 12-inch will actually get to the MacBook Pro line eventually. Something I don't really like about the MacBook Pro is the temperatures. It's only 2.7 GHz dual-core chip, but it gets fairly hot, so you really need to have max fan control or something like that running in order to keep it cool. I have it set up. I will just show you that so you could use this as a reference. I've set it as a sensor-based value on CPU core 0, and it will start throttling between 55 and 75 degrees. So as soon as it hits 55, it will start throttling up the fans, and the temperature should come down, or at least remain steady at that point. And that's actually pretty much the only real downside, aside from the fact that I should have opted for the 256 gig SSD option, which I could afford, but at the last point I actually opted out of that. I don't really know why, but that's something that I should have done. You get better speeds, you get more capacity, so you can actually do more. Your machine becomes more versatile. But, you shouldn't really do any video editing or rendering on this thing because the CPU can't really keep up with that. The editing part is fine, but as soon as you start rendering, it will actually be painfully slow because it's only a dual-core chip. I actually tried exporting a 10-minute 1080p video, and that didn't end well, let me put it that way. It took about half an hour to 45 minutes to render that. Video card is fine though. My experience has taught me that integrated graphics in laptops are a good thing. Dedicated graphics are a bad thing. If you're not into gaming on a laptop, I'm absolutely not into gaming on a laptop. The screen's way too freaking small. Even 15-inch or 17-inch laptops are too small for me for gaming. Once you're used to a desktop display, you really can't go back to something like this. But pretty much all NVIDIA and AMD chips that were put in these Apple machines actually failed at some point. The iMacs had the Radeon 4000 series. The 4670 was a big no-no. The 4850 was a big no-no. On the NVIDIA side, well, of course, the GeForce 8600M, which failed in every single freaking laptop and required logic board replacements everywhere. The 330M is problematic here and there. The 650M seems to be fine. But then again, another couple of cards on the AMD side, like 6490M, 6770M, and 6970M. 6770M and 6970M, yeah, those are the types. They're also pretty problematic and seem to fail pretty darn quickly. It's mostly related to 2011 Macs, it seems. That's absolutely the year. That's the shittiest year to buy a Mac from. Absolutely stay away from those. Get a 2012 model if you can. Leave the 2011 models. As long as, well, if they have the HD3000 on board, like the 13-inch MacBook Pro, you should be fine. Right. So one more thing I want to go over on this machine is pretty much the battery. This thing lasts a long time. I can easily get through about, well, 1 day certainly, but 2 days is absolutely not an exception. I can just work on it all day, browsing the web, doing some Word stuff and everything in between pretty much, and it absolutely pulls like a champ. It lasts me a good 6 to 12 hours, depending on how long I have to work and how intensive the work is. But I can definitely manage something in between there. I never run it at full brightness because when I'm inside it's absolutely not necessary, so that helps a bit as well. And it's the best battery life that I've ever seen on a laptop that I've used. So definitely a pro there to Apple. Absolutely good job. And well, that's pretty much all that I have to say about this laptop. My experiences with it so far have been absolutely great. It's been a champ. It's been helping me for the past 3 months, and it has never given me any hiccups. Well, it has on the bootcamp partition on Windows, but that's just because Microsoft doesn't know how to make an operating system. That's just pretty much a fact. It's pretty unstable here and there on Windows 10, but maybe it's because drivers haven't matured yet, or the operating system has some bugs in it. My desktop with the 4930K in it appears to be pulling Windows 10 just fine, so maybe it's just because of this machine. But that's a whole different story. I'm not going to talk about the Windows part of things. On OS 10, it's been absolutely great. I have Office 2016 to do all my work in. I have 2 Dropbox folders syncing so I can keep up with my schoolwork and my projects. And it's just been coping really well. I use this as my main emailing machine. Yeah, $1,300 emailing machine. Ain't that great. I use it for all the Apple services aside from iTunes because that's a piece of crap. And it should be removed permanently from the world. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, it's absolutely been a great experience. Even Word 2016 comes up like a champ. And that program is heavy on the disk. Let me tell you that. So, let's just stop rambling here and just wrap up the video. The 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro, it's an expensive laptop, but it's well designed, it's very well built, it's absolutely a tank, and it's a damn reliable workhorse laptop. If you can deal with things like non-repairability, small SSD capacities if you have a pretty tight budget, and just 2 USB ports, well, this might be the laptop for you. If you rely on more power in the CPU department, definitely take a look at the 15-inch, which will always offer you a quad-core CPU and a better graphics processor. The Iris Pro is definitely a lot faster than this Iris 6200. And also keep in mind, if you're running an Intel integrated graphics Mac, by all means update to El Capitan if you're still on Yosemite. All of your graphical glitches will go away. This was my review and my experiences with my MacBook Pro 2015 Retina, and I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you all for watching.